guys, sorry I'm late with a video. I got busy today. Here's my little Violet. I just put her eye drops in her eyes. She has dry eye, cataract, she's blind. This is my 15-year-old Chihuahua. She died on me on Sunday, and I'll explain that in a minute. But she's doing well. She came back, and she has more energy now than she did before. Don't you, Missy? Yeah, she's my precious little girl. Okay, guys, my little clip just before. Sorry, I have a little wild hair going on here. I've been painting in my trailer. Yeah, the other day, was it Sunday? Violet died. She up and just screamed out, and her heart stopped. And I quickly picked her up. She was in her bed. I had just put her, she just ate. And I put her out, and I brought her in the house and put her in a bed, like I always do. And she let out this god-awful scream. And I turned around, her head's kind of up in the air. And I can hear her doing this little yell. It only lasted like 2 or 3 seconds. And then she just flopped over. Her head fell out of the bed. And I picked her up, and she was like a wet dish rag, like a wet piece of spaghetti. And I knew she was dead. And I immediately went into survival mode. I was a vet tech. I even worked in an emergency vet. I gave her CPR. And Gideon had been laying next to her on the bed. And when she did that, he screamed. He has this demonic cry that he does. It just scares the crap out of you. It makes the hair on the back of your neck raise. And he ran under the bed. His cat box is right under the bed by my feet. And the bench is right there. And I laid her on the bench, and he's sitting on his cat box watching what I'm doing. And Elliot comes to the end of the bed. He was on the foot of the bed. He comes to the end of the bed. Sorry, I hate when that does that. And he's staring at me. He's very alert. And Owen's behind me on the floor, and he's doing this little bark like he doesn't know what's going on. And I just gave Violet CPR. And I didn't think twice about it. As a mom of 7 kids, it just came natural. It was instinct to save this little dog's life. I don't care if it was a dog, if it was a person, it was just instinct to do this. And she wasn't responding, so I flipped her over, and she was still limp. Her gums were white. She was gone. I flipped her over, and I continued, and then she took a deep breath, and I picked her up, and I continued, and she took another gasp, and put her up on the bed. And I have a picture of it just after. I took a little video, and she's just laying there. She was just dazed and confused and just out of it. So I called my daughter Daisy, which this is Violet. Violet is her dog. And I called Daisy, and I was telling Daisy, and I wrapped Violet up in a blanket, and I'm holding her. And she's still just, she's blind, so you can't really see in her eyes, but you could tell just by the way she was just laying there that her eyes weren't doing anything. But she was breathing. She came back. And I was telling Daisy, and I think Daisy said, "Oh, poor Violet." And she heard Daisy's voice say her name, and I saw her little eyeballs go back and forth. I said, "Daisy, she heard you." And she can't really hear. She has very limited hearing. So Daisy called her name again, and her eyes moved again, and she perked up a little bit. So I just, I held her for a while, and I put her back in her bed. And she's fine. She's absolutely fine. A couple days before that, it was towards the morning, I'd gotten up, and her bed is right next to mine, right next to my hip area. And I looked at her, and her head was hanging out of the bed, and I thought, oh my God, she's dead. And I picked it up, and she was very limp then, but I thought she was in a deep sleep, and she was completely drooling. And I'm like, oh, she had an episode. She's 15 years old. So I didn't rush her to the vet. I didn't rush her to the vet Sunday. It sounds like it's probably her heart. And I believe she's on borrowed time right now. I told her the other day, Monday, I had to run to the store. No, Tuesday. Yeah, yesterday. I had to run to the store. And I told both of them, because Elliott's 16 and a half. And I said, I always tell them goodbye, love them, behave yourselves. I said, please don't die on me while I'm gone. But I did tell her Sunday night, I told her, it's okay if you want to go, you can go. I said, but it would be nice if you just hung on long enough so we can get back to Colorado so Daisy can see you again. So I'm hoping that that's what she does. I'm going to try and leave. I was hoping to leave on the 1st. I have a dentist appointment out there on the 10th. And there's not many places for me to park, especially around the Denver area. I can stay at Daisy's boyfriend's mom's house, but I have to park the trailer in the street, and she lives in an older neighborhood from the 60s, so the roads are narrow, and it just scares me that someone's going to run into me. So I'm thinking maybe I'll just wait a couple more days. I am going to, it's only about 10 to 12 hours from here. I think it's 12. So I thought maybe I'd just wait maybe the 3rd and pull out. I'm going to film a bunch of small towns on the way back and spend the night here and there. But I don't know. I would like to get there as soon as I can for Violett and Daisy. But she's doing fine now. She got this burst of energy. I guess her heart being restarted, shocked her electrical system, and she's fine. She did have an episode yesterday. I think it was yesterday. I put her out in the pen, and I ran in the house. Yeah, when I came back from the store. Put her in the pen, her and Elliot, and I ran in the house to put something in the freezer, and I came back out. And they're both at the gate, and they're usually never at the gate. In this pen, I have to duck under the gate to go get them. And they're both at the gate, and I'm like, oh, thank you for being there at the gate. I don't have to duck under it anymore. But then I noticed her back was all full of dirt. And Elliot never pushes her over, and Violett never falls over. So I'm thinking she may have had an episode and she fell, or just, fell over. So I picked her up, and she was doing that drooling again. And she hadn't eaten breakfast. She did have 3 little teeny treats. But this has been Violett. Violett is one she's always been a picky dog. She eats when she wants to. She likes to sleep 12 hours. So I took her in and cleaned her up, and I offered her food. And I had picked up some baby food of chicken. So I gave her, she didn't want her food, so I gave her a little teaspoon of chicken, and she downed it. So then I waited a little while. I didn't want to upset her belly. And I mixed a little bit more in with her food, and she finished her food from yesterday morning. So then she was fine. She's fine today. She slept all night. She's been in and out of her bed, sitting up on the bed, and usually she sleeps all day. But she is so active now. And I know a lot of times I've worked with a lot of elderly people too. Before they're passing, they do get some energy. So my little Violett is, I think she may go before Elliot does. I did have a comment, why did you bring her back? Well, it was instinct. It was instinct. I didn't think. I thought to save her. There was somebody in distress, and my first thought was to save her. I've been trained to do that, and that's what I did. And I guess she wasn't ready to go yet, because if she was, then she wouldn't have come back. So I thought I'd share that with you guys, and that is something for all of you people out there, whether you're nomads or not. You should learn CPR on animals. It's very easy. I don't know what it's like on a bigger dog. On Violett, it was very, very simple. Just basic first aid. Whether it's you watch a bunch of YouTube videos, you get a book out of the library, you research it on Google and read stuff. Just learn basic first aid for your pets. Have a first aid kit. And because you never know. You never know what might happen. I always have my first aid kit for them in my truck. And yeah, she's good though. She's really doing well today. So I thought I'd share that with you guys. And I know some of you might have different comments that, oh, you should have taken her to the vet. And what is the vet going to do? He's going to look at a 15-year-old dog, run blood tests, do an x-ray, an EKG, to tell me what? That, yeah, she could die today, she can die next year, she could die in a couple months. I know my dog, and when she's ready to go, she's going to go. She's not in pain, and I believe that she wasn't in pain when she did that scream. But but I'll just keep an eye on her. And when it's her time, it's her time. And that's it. All right, guys, give your dogs and your cats and all your pets a big hug today. Spend some special time with them, especially if they're seniors.